Hi, welcome to 4.2 Equivalent Ratios from Course 1A Singapore Math. A gentle reminder to watch the content video before proceeding with me to do independent practice. Question 1. Use division to find all whole number ratios equivalent to each of the following. So we are supposed to use division to find the equivalent ratios. So 12 and 30, we know they both are even number. So if we divide them by 2, so let's write 12 and 30, and we divide both numerator and denominator by 2. So this becomes 6 over 15. So that's one of the ratios. Now 12 and 30, they have many common factors, and one of them is 3. So we divide both with 3. So 12 over 30 divided by 3. So we divide each numerator and denominator both because we want an equivalent ratio. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. 30 divided by 3 is 10. So that's another here. And then let's say 12 over 30. We divide it by 6. So 12 divided by 6 is 2 and 30 divided by 6 is 5. So that's another ratio. So they're asking us to give different ratios, right? And these are some possible ratios. Like if you simplify this further, this is actually 2 times 3 and that's 5 times 3, right? So 3 will cancel and it will be 2 over 5 as you have here. Same thing, this will equalize to this because we are doing equivalent ratios. Next, 42 and 24. So we say 42 and 24. Let's divide by 2 because both are even numbers. So that becomes 21 over 12. And 42 and 24 also has a common factor 3. So we say 42 and 24 divided by 3. 42 divided by 3 is 14 and 24 divided by 3 is 8. Again, 42 over 24 and that common factor is again 6 here. So 42 divided by 6 is 7 and 24 divided by 6 is 4. So if you try to simplify these two ratios further, you will reach here because this is the simplest form that you have. This cannot be further reduced. State whether each pair of ratios are equivalent. So the first here is 11 upon 17 and the second one is 17 upon 11. Are they equivalent? Of course they are not. Next here, 7 over 11 and this one is 21 over 33. Can we simplify the second ratio? Yes, we can because this can be written as 3 times 7 and this one is 3 times 11. 3 and 3 is out, which means this becomes 7 over 11. So they are equivalent ratios. 15 over 35 and then you have 25 over 45. So let's simplify this further. When we say simplify further, we mean that we'll take the common factors out. We'll have the simplest possible form. So we say this is 5 times 3 and this is 5 times 7. So that means this 5 and 5 is out. So we are left with 3 over 7. Let's say this one. Again, 5 is a common factor. So this is 5 times 5 and that's 5 times 9. 5 and 5 is out, which means we have 5 over 9. Are they equal? This and this ratios? No, they are not equal. And therefore, these two ratios are also not equal. Next, 15 over 20. So we can write this as 5 times 3 and 5 times 4. So common factor 5 is out, which means this is 3 upon 4. Next one is 20 upon 25. So this is again 5 times 4 and 5 times 5. So 5 and 5 is out, which means this is 4 upon 5. Are these two ratios equal? No, they aren't. And therefore, these two are also not equal. Simple, right? So you have to do your calculations carefully. Now, in this question here, you could simplify the second ratio and get the format of the first one, exactly the first one. But in these two cases, we couldn't do that. So we had to simplify and compare them. 38 over 19. So this can be written as 19 times 2 and 19 times 1, which means 19 out, and therefore that's 2 over 1. And the second ratio is 2 over 1. So they both are equal, and hence these are equivalent ratios. 12 over 8, which is equal to 3 times 4 and 2 times 4. So 4 and 4 out, that is 3 over 2. Let's do the second one. This is 6 times 3 and that's 6 times 2. So 6 and 6 is out and therefore this is 3 over 2. Are these two equal? Yes, they are. And therefore these two ratios are equivalent ratios. Express each ratio in simplest form. So we have to divide this by a common factor and get the simplest form. So that's 13 over 39. We can write this as 1 times 13 and this is 3 times 13. So 13 out, which means the answer is 1 over 3. That's the simplest form. You cannot further divide it. Next, 16 over 40. So that is 8 times 2 and that's 8 times 5. So 8 and 8 out, which means this is 2 over 5. No common factors between 2 and 5, right? So that tells us we have done the simplest form. Do you see how important are your times tables? Next, 25 over 15. So we write this as 5 times 5 and this is 5 times 3. So the common factor 5 is out and that leaves it to be 5 over 3. 56 and 21. So this is 7 times 8 and that's 7 times 3. So times tables helps you decide how you have to divide it. So that's 8 over 3. 30 over 54. So that's 5 times 6 and that's 9 times 6. So 6 and 6 out. So that is 5 over 9. 72 over 48. So that's basically 24 times 3 and 24 times 2. So that gives us 3 over 2 because this 24 is out. I know 24's times table is something that you wouldn't know. So you can go like this. 72 equals to 9 times 8 and 48 here. That is 6 times 8. So we cancel 8 and 8. That means we have 9 over 6 here, right? So 9 can be written as 3 times 3 and 6 can be written as 3 times 2. So 3 and 3 out, which means this is 3 over 2. So if you know the times tables for bigger numbers, you can go this method. If not, you can go this method. There's nothing wrong in either of the methods. They both are correct. Question 15. 26 centimeter and 4 meters. For this, you need to know the conversion. We know 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So 4 meters would be 400 centimeters. So this conversion is important. You need to know that. You can have equivalent ratios if they have the same units. You need to be mindful of that. And that's why we did this conversion here. So 26 over 4 meters. So we are going to write 400 here now because we are taking everything in centimeters. Now this is 13 times 2 and this is 200 times 2. So the common factor here is 2 and 2. So the answer will be 13 over 200. Again, 9 kg and 36 grams. We know 1 kg is 1000 grams. So 9 kgs will be 9,000 grams. So we say 9,000 over 36. 9 tells you what common factor you have here, right? So this is 9 times 1,000 and that's 9 times 4. So 9 and 9 is out, which means we have 1000 over 4. Both are even numbers, so you can further divide this. So if you divide both by 2, that will be 500 over 2. Again, both are even numbers, so we divide by 2 again. 500 divided by 2 is 250. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 250 as to 1 is the answer. Okay, because here this was a big number, we followed this second process over here that we have. So if that helps, we should do that. Then 35 minutes and 2 hours. 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 2 hours will be 120 minutes. So we say this is 35 over 120, which means this is 5 times 7, and that's 5 times 24. Okay, you can do the calculations on side and check 120 divided by 5 is how much. I'm sure it is 24. So 5 and 5 out. That leaves us with 7 over 24. Find the missing term in each pair of equivalent ratios. So now we got to find the missing term. So let's write our ratios here. 7 over 9 equals to 49 over something, and that's what we are supposed to find. And to do that, we need to know how to reach from 7 to 49. That is times 7. So if your numerator is multiplied with 7, your denominator should also be multiplied with 7. So 9 times 7 is 63. And it's done. So that's how you solve this kind of questions. So that's 12 over 5 equals to something over 60. Now, how do you reach? You multiply with 12, right? So same thing, you have to multiply this with 12. So 12 times 12 is 144. Next, 4 over something equals to 48 over 180. Now, we do the reverse process here from 48 to 4. How do you get there? You have to divide it by 12. Same thing here. 180 should be divided with 12. So if you divide 180 by 12, your answer is going to be 15. Okay? Next, something over 13 equals to, I like to leave space so that it's not clumsy, 77 over 143. To go from 143 to 13, you have to divide it by 11. Same thing here. 77 divided by 11 is, yes, that's 7. Next, 45 over 36 equals to something over 12. So from 36 to 12, you do divide by 3. Same thing here, divide by 3. 45 divided by 3 is 15. And it's done. 30 over 48 equals to 5 over something. Now, how do we reach from 30 to 5? That's divided by 6. Same thing here. Divide by 6. So 48 divided by 6 is 8. 72 over something equals to 6 over 7. Now to go from 6 to 72, what do we need to do? We need to multiply it with 12. So same thing here, multiply with 12. So 7 times 12 is 84. Something over 88 equals to 11 over 8. And how do we do that? 8 to 88 is times 11. Same thing here, times 11. 11 times 11 is 121. That's the square of 11. Something over 12 equals to 63 over 108. Now to go from 108 to 12, what do you need to do? Divide it by 9. Same thing here, divide by 9. 63 divided by 9 is 7. Find the equivalent ratios. Use multiplication to find three ratios. You have to have three more and you have to use multiplication. Equivalent to 8 over 12. So let's say we multiply with 2. So this will become 8 times 2 is 16 and 12 times 2 is 24. Let's multiply with 3. 8 times 3 is 24 and 12 times 3 is 36. And let's do times 10 now. 8 times 10 is 80 and 12 times 10 is 120. Done. Now here it says use division to find equivalent ratios for this number. Now that both are even number, let's divide by 2 first. So 168 divided by 2, 16 divided by 2 is 8 and 8 divided by 2 is 4 upon 56 divided by 2 is 24. 8. We can divide this by 4 as well. So if you divide this by 4, basically this you have to divide by 2, or you divide this directly by 4. You will get the same answer. So I'll make this one half again. So that's 42 and that's 14. So that's easy to do. So we did it by 2, we did it by 4. Next, let's try with 7 now. So 168 divided by 7 here. 7 times 2 is 14. That's 2, and 8 down, that's 4. So that's 24 over 56 divided by 7 is 8. Next, we divide it by 8. To do that, you have two ways. Either you divide this by 8, or you divide this fraction, this ratio, by 2, because 4 times 2 is 8, right? So that's 21 over 7. This number tells me that this division is further possible, right? So it is basically dividing this ratio, this whole ratio, by 56. 56 times 3 is 168. Check here. That's 18, 1 there, 15 plus 1, 16. So dividing by 56. So that's 3 over 1. And these are the possible equivalent ratios for these two numbers, for this given ratio. Ready for 29th? Find the missing term in each pair of equivalent ratios. So we got to find the missing term. Here the process is a bit different from the process that we followed in the previous questions, like here to find the equivalent ratios, because they were easily convertible, right? So like from 11 to 121 or 8 to 88 here in this question. So you could do that directly. But here that's not the case. So let's see how to solve this. Let's take the first ratio. So we simplify this. We say this is 9 times 7, and that's 9 times 3. So 9 and 9 is out, which means this is 7 over 3. Now let's take second. 49 over something has to be equal to 7 over 3. So we use this here. And now we follow the process from the previous question. So 7 to 49 is times 7. Same thing here. We have to do times 7. And hence the answer will be 21. Okay, so this was this extra step here where you had to simplify. And then you were using this simplest form here. So let's do some more here. 81 over 18. That's 9 times 9, and that's 9 times 2. So 9 and 9 is out. That means we have 9 over 2. Now we take the second ratio. Something over 8, 9 over 2. Now 2 to 8 is times 4. So 9 times 4 is what we have to do, and that's 36. Easy? Now in the next question, the first ratio is not given. We have the second one, so we are going to use that. It doesn't matter. So we say this is 5 over 20. That's 5 times 1, and that's 5 times 4. So 5 and 5 is out, which means this is 1 over 4. So 24 over something is equal to 1 over 4. And now the same process. To go from 1 to 24, you multiply with 24. Same thing here. You multiply with 24. 24 times 4 is 96. Or in this case, you could also have done, because this is 1 over 4. So it's basically, you need 1 to 4, right? Like times 4. Then you could do 24 times 4 and get 96. Either of the ways. We have 15 over 5. So that is basically 3 over 1. Now something over 24 equals to 3 over 1. So the same thing, you can do this process. This is times 3, right? So again, times 3. So that's going to be 72. Or you could do the process that we have been doing, like this is times 24. Same thing here, times 24. You would get the same answer. Next, this ratio is 60 over 144. So this becomes how much? Let's simplify this. Both the numbers are telling me their common factor. Are they? Are they telling you? It's 12 times 5, and that's 12 times 12. So this 12 and 12 is out, which means this is 5 over 12. Now something over 60 equals to 5 over 12. So 12 to 60 is times 5. Same thing here. 5 times 5, which is 25, the square of 5. 125 over 80. So that's basically 5 times 25, and that's 5 times 16. I have to look for common factors to cancel them, right? So that 5 and 5 is out, which means this is 25 over 16. So now we say 75 over something equals to 25 over 16. And how do we do this? 25 times 3 is 75. So this also we multiply by 3. 16 times 3 is 48. Now we are going to use this one, right? 42 over 7. You know, 42 is a multiple of 7, right? So this is basically 6 over 1. So 90 over something equals to 6 over 1. So this is basically 6 times 15. So this will also be 1 times 15. And that's a tough one to do, right? 1 times 15. It's 15. 63 over 72. So that is equal to 9 times 7, and that's 9 times 8. So 9 and 9 is out, which means this is 7 over 8. Something over 112 equals to 7 upon 8. Now how do we reach from 8 to 112? 8 times 14. So the same thing here. 7 times 14 is how much? 98. And it's done. And this is the last one that we have of this type now. So that's 96 over 108. We can write this as 12 times 8, and that's 12 times 9. So 12 and 12 out, and we have 8 over 9. Now something over 45 equals to 8 over 9. And you know this, 9 times 5. So the same thing, 8 times 5 is what we shall do here, and that's 40. And done. Let's go to the next one. Fill in the table. Natalie used the following table to prepare 5 mixtures of orange paint using pails of red paint and yellow paint. The pails she used are identical. So we have information she's using 2 paints, red and yellow, to make orange. So in case of A, red is 3, yellow is 5. So they're asking us red as to yellow. So we just have to simply write it here. So that's 3 as to 5. Red comes first. So 6 as to 10, 9 as to 15, 12 as to 20, 21 as to 25. And if you simplify all these 4 ratios here, they will be 3 as to 5. Okay, and that's what they're asking you here, simplest form. So everywhere you're going to write 3 as to 5, 3 as to 5, 3 as to 5, 3 as to 5, and 3 as to 5. Look here, 6 over 10. That's 3 times 2 and 5 times 2. So this 2 will be out. So it's 3 over 5. You can do for all of them. You'll get the same answer. And it says number of pails of red paint to the number of pails of yellow. So it's basically the same thing, but in the ratio format like this: 3 over 5, 6 over 10, 9 over 15, 12 over 20, and 21 over 25. And again, when you simplify all these fractions, all these ratios here, it's going to be 3 over 5, and it's done. Question 39. Daniel uses 5 fluid ounces of lemonade concentrate for every 9 ounces of orange juice. So lemonade is 5 and orange is 9. To make a serving of fruit punch, find the ratio of the number of fluid ounces of orange juice concentrate to the number of fluid ounces of lemonade. So it's orange and lemonade, right? So orange is how much? 9, and lemonade is 5. That's it. If Danielle wants to make 4 servings, now this here that you have, that gives us 1 serving. Now he wants to make 4 servings. How many fluid ounces of lemonade? You have to be careful. Look, first they're asking lemonade. So your numerator should be lemonade, and then the denominator has to be orange. So be careful with that. Otherwise, general, because we did it here, we just multiply and get it done. No, be careful. So L to O. L is 5 and O is 9. And that's giving us one serving. How many servings we want? We want four servings. So we are going to do times 4 like this. So that's 20 over 36. Okay. If Danielle uses 45 fluid ounces of lemonade. So lemonade upon orange. How much is lemonade? 45. To make the fruit punch, how many fluid of ounces of orange juice concentrate does it need? So how much does it need here? And we know the simplest form here, right? So we say this is 5 over 9. This is exactly like doing this equivalent ratios. Okay, it's nothing different. It's just that the information is given as sentences. You're not given ratios directly. Okay, so that's 5 to 49 is how much? Times 9. So this will also be times 9. And 9 times 9 is 81. So for 45 fluid ounces of lemonade concentrate, he needs to use 81 ounces of orange juice concentrate. Okay, ready for the next? A manufacturer's instruction states that for every 3 cups of cleansing agent, so that's 3, used, 5 cups of water should be used. So that's 5. Find the ratio of the amount of cleansing agent used to the amount of water used. So cleansing agent to water. So that's 3 over 5. That's it. Find the missing numbers. It's very easy, just like equivalent ratios, okay? So here we see 3 to 9 is how much? Times 3. Same thing you will do here, times 3. So that is 15. Now we don't need to write each time times 3 times that, because these are simple numbers and we can do it mentally. Okay, so 3 to 12 is times 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. Now 5 to 35 is times 7. So 3 times 7 is 21. 5 to 45 is times 9. So 3 times 9 is 27. So you can easily do this question mentally also. It was just multiplying. They involved a smaller number, so we did it mentally. But if you're not comfortable, write the process, do the equivalent ratios, and get your answers. A worker uses 24 cups of cleaning agent. How much water does he need? So the ratio is cleaning upon water, right? And we have this here. So that's 3 over 5. Now here he is using 24 cups of cleaning agent and we need to find how much water. So again, equivalent ratios. So that's 3 times 8. So here we will do 5 times 8, which is how much? 40. Done. The ratio of the number of stems Brianna has. So we have Brianna here. Let's write B for her. The number of stems Aiden has. So that's Aiden here. A is 5 s to 6. So that's 5 and that's 6. And the ratio of the number of stems Brianna B has to the number of stems Claire has. So now we have another person here, Claire. So it's Brianna and Claire. That's 15 and 13. Okay. Find the ratio of the number of stems Brianna has to the number of stems Aiden has, to the number of stems Claire has. So in the first case, we had Brianna and Aiden, and in the second case, we have Brianna and Claire. We do not have all of them together, and we cannot simply write them, okay, 15 as to 6 as to 13 or 5 as to 6 as to 13. You can't do that. You need to equalize it. And for that, what do? We have to, Claire is given, Brianna is given. For this, we don't have Aiden. So let's find it. Now for this, how do we reach here? 5 times 3 gives us 15, right? So we do the same thing here. 6 times 3. So that is 18. So Brianna as to Aiden as to Claire is 15 as to 18 as to 13. That's it. So you just had to do the equivalent ratio. Okay. And here comes the last question. Yay! A fruit seller packs different fruit into baskets of the same size. So the baskets are of the same size. The ratio of the weight of bananas to the weight of apples, so you have bananas, you have apples, to the weight of pears is the same for all the baskets. The table shows the different weights of fruit in the basket. Find the missing number. So here we have some information given and we are going to use that to find the missing information. Let's see how we can do that. This one is very easy here. See, 18 to 6. How do we do that? We have to divide it by 3. So this first line will be divided by 3 from the third one. So basically, this is what you do. 12 divided by 3 and 15 divided by 3 here. So 12 divided by 3 is 4 and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So the first part is done. Now let's see, do we have some other information that helps us? Yes, I can see that. 4 to 8. How do we do that? That's times 2. So from here to here, you have to do times 2. So 6 times 2 here. 6 times 2 would be 12. And same thing, 5 times 2 would be 10. So these are our answers. Let me just write the answers like this so it's easier. The numbers here, there's no confusion anywhere. So this was again about equivalent ratios. You need to know how to use them, how to use the given information to find the missing information. And that's it. This is what we have in the second chapter, 4.2. And I'm sure you have followed it well. You're becoming better at math. You're confident now. We shall meet soon in the independent practice for 4.3 because that's real world problem. So we won't have any content video. See you soon. Enjoy math. Bye bye.